surely time to reassemble the Scions. Alphinaud agreed, so we returned again to the Waking Sands, where we found Ida, who had been hiding out with Y'shtola. She had been trying to work out where the Imperials had taken the others. After completing my collection of crystals of light, I had another vision of the Mother Crystal while the others slept.
I am Hydaelyn. Hearken unto me now. The crystals shall be thy salvation, thy blade and shield both.
Y'shtola woke us with news. The other Scions are apparently being held at Castrum's Sentry. We went back to Curthus, where Portelaine confirmed that they'd seen Imperials with captives, and that a couple of them had escaped on foot and were being pursued by troops. Meanwhile, the Garleans were carrying out final preparations for the Ultima Weapon to form the centre of an invasion force against Eorzea, and Belsar gave instructions to Ratatin to prepare for possible counterattack, while he and Livia discussed strategy. Yeah, that's probably it. Back in Curthus, I found Wedge hiding under a bridge, but Biggs was too big for that, and was instead trying to hold off a small battalion. Along with Y'shtola and Ida, I helped him to escape, and reunited them both with their old boss Cid. Wedge confirmed that Minfilia and the other Scions were being held at Castrum's Sentry, so our next job was to figure out how to rescue them. Cid's plan was to disguise ourselves as Imperial soldiers, steal a Magitech Reaper, and walk up to the front door. It's a bold strategy, let's see if it pays off. Before grabbing a set of uniforms, our informant Glaumont advised me that it would be worth learning how to give an Imperial salute, so I had to go and spy on a patrol. With that done, it was a simple matter to clatter some of the troops outside the castrum and nick their gear. Now I had the uniforms, it was time to steal a Reaper. Glaumont had helpfully started a rumour that insurgents were in the area, so a patrol was likely to be passing nearby. I went out and lured it closer to Mordona, where Cid and I then pounced on it. The Reaper did not emerge from the scuffle completely unscathed, but Biggs and Wedge thought they'd be able to patch it up. When I checked in at the workshop, they'd managed to buff out a lot of the structural stuff, and found that the core was worn out. The most suitable replacement was apparently an expensive sentient mammoth heart, which I was dispatched to collect. Fortunately for my pocket, Alfie had agreed to cover the cost. Maybe he does have his uses. After the heart was fitted, the Reaper appeared to be functional, but refused to move properly. While we were trying to figure out how to resolve this, another patrol turned up to try to take her back. By fighting to keep her out of Imperial hands, we apparently demonstrated our love sufficiently, and with working armour, we were ready to carry out Cid's plan to assault the castrum. Inside, Livia was taking out her anger on a bound but resolute Minfilia. Outside, we donned our Imperial disguises and made our way to the gates. The time had come to rescue our friends. Cid's plan worked well, and we were able to infiltrate the castrum and move freely inside. We found Minfilia and the others locked in a cell and leapt into combat. We defeated their guards and freed them from their bonds, and lost no time in making our way outside. Meanwhile, Y'shtola and Ida cornered Livia, but Before they could administer justice, she was rescued by a clutch of troops. More troops poured out to bar our escape, and Wedge took on a battalion by himself. We fought our way through vanguards and colossuses until we found ourselves trapped by the edge of a cliff, faced with a firing squad. Ishtola intervened in the nick of time. Wedge escaped, and the Reaper did her bit to disrupt the Imperial soldiers. We were still backed up against a cliff with nowhere to go, until Cid popped up with the entity. Before we could get clear, Van Belsar started taking potshots at us with the Ultima Weapon.
What in the seven hells? Oh no.
The Alagans used it to crush primal and foe alike. And now the Garleans mean to do the same.
This realm founders for want of a ruler with true power.
He was ranting about the need for strong leadership, assuming we could somehow hear him.
You continue to deny this truth.
He was accompanied by La Habrea, who pulled his hood down at last to reveal he was actually Thancred, which explains how the Garleans knew where the Scions' headquarters was. Van Belsar had sent his ultimatum to the leaders of the city-states, and they assembled to discuss their ability to fight the Empire off without the Scions.
Let us bear to them the tidings that the Scions of the Seventh Dawn are returned.
It's time to show them that we were not finished.
By Ralga, you're alive. All of you.
Hear me, my friends. Accepting the Garleans' offer to vanquish the primals would be folly.
Should Eorzea fall into their hands, there will be such suffering as none can imagine.
Yet you must not give in.
Remember 5 years ago when you wagered all for the sake of the realm? Remember what you fought for, what you were willing to die for.
Gridania will go to war.
If you want aught, you'd best be ready to die for it.
Those who would pick a quarrel with us must choose. Back down, or go down with all hands.
Alphinaud and Minfilia's words were enough to convince the leaders to refuse Van Belsar's ultimatum. It's time to fight back.